Welcome to the Liberating River, where spiritual freedom meets soul-aligned wealth. I'm your guide, Wanda F. Nesbitt. Let's break free, build boldly, and live fully together. The continuation from last week's episode, Breaking Free from Fear-Based Obedience. Part 2, Walking into Freedom. Part 4, Breaking Free. So, now we know what we're dealing with, right? How do we actually break free from the fear of obedience? How did I break free? Well, let me show you my walk, step by step. The first step that I did was to sit in the question. I started questioning everything. I really became like a kid. I was just inquisitive. I would just go out the box with everything and just question. Because I realized and I had to start recognizing what the lie was. The lie was fear saying, if you don't do this, give, work hard, fill in the blank, God will punish you. But then I could hear love say, give because it aligns your heart with mine. Okay, that makes sense. When I give, as they say, with a grateful heart, out of love, it connects me back with God. It made sense, and I felt better. Which builds into what my second step was, right? It was to replace fear with love. Every time fear arose in my life, I started consciously taking in deep breaths and declaring, I am love. I am love. I am safe. I am guided by love, not fear. I am love. I am loved. I am safe. I am guided by love, not fear. The third step was I had to realize some more stuff, of course. And for me, it had to develop over time. I don't know about you all. It didn't take me years, but I think it's just based on each person how long it'll take. But it did take me some time. So the third step was to redefine obedience. Obedience isn't about perfection. I've said this before, or avoiding punishment. It's not about either one of those. However, it is about alignment. So living in harmony with God's guidance. After those first 3 steps, right? Now my mind started opening up. It's like a field. Like I live in Delaware. And so we have a lot of farmland. And the farmers go and they till that soil. So that's how my mind felt. And if you've ever farmed, you know, sometimes it can be tough before you get to the softer dirt. So that's what had to happen. And like I said, this process right here, it just depends on how your process is. Everybody's process is going to be completely different. So then when I came to step 4, it was easier for me once I got rid of the those items that needed tilling. It became easier for me to understand things. And so the 4th step was detaching money from fear. Money is not a whip. It's a tool. When I finally understood that concept, giving became like air to me. It is first nature. It's not even second nature. It's first nature. So when I give and when you give, let it be because you want to, not because you're terrified. When you save or invest, let it come from trust, right? Let it come from a place that there will always be more than enough for you. And then step 5, I do believe in practicing gentle spiritual, uh, some people call it rituals or disciplines. I do believe in that. I know a lot of people say pray. I have stopped putting prayer in the forefront of my life. I meditate. I meditate because I want to hear what God wants to convey to me. I realize when I pray, I'm always asking, begging, pleading, looking for something. But when do you shut up and hear what God has to say? So that's why I don't pray as much. I pray, but not as much. And no, God is not going to stop loving me or you if you stop praying. You will actually start to hear him. And you might be surprised what you hear. And he actually might tell you how much he loves you. So listen sometimes instead of always coming with a petition. I do journal. So I will always say write down your thoughts because as a tool, journaling is a nice means for clearing your mind. Step 6, I will always say this. Mind your ear gates. Pay attention to who's teaching you about God, who's teaching you about money. Are they preaching and teaching out of fear, guilt, and curses? Or are they teaching freedom, love, and alignment with God? Something just to think about. Some other practical things you can do starting today. Next time you give, say this to yourself. I give in joy, not fear. Right. If you're not giving out of joy, don't do it. The next time you save, this is me stewarding, not hoarding. If you're saving because it's out of fear, and I'm not talking about your rainy days, prepare. I'm one of those people to be proactive. Okay. Definitely prepare. But I'm talking about those other times. And you know what those other times are when you're just not spending money because you're afraid of possibly being without. And you know you have money. That's hoarding. That's not stewarding. The next time you face a financial decision, truly ask yourself, am I making this choice because I'm scared or because I trust? Those are all things you should always have in your mind before you make a decision because you'll be making a decision. Fear won't be. As far as journaling prompts, like I told you, I do some journaling. Try these. Where has fear dictated my financial decisions? Where has fear dictated my financial decisions? And what would generosity look like if it flowed from joy, not fear? What would generosity look like if it flowed from joy, not fear? Part 5. Living in love-based obedience. Let me tell you, when you shift from fear to love, everything changes. Everything. Spiritually, you start to obey because, of course, you trust. And you're not scared. You're not terrified. You're not petrified. Financially, you begin to handle money with confidence and peace. And that feeling right there is amazing. Oh my goodness. You give joyfully. You're able to save joyfully. You wind up saving wisely. Like all of these are connected. And then let's not even talk about investing. you kind of feel bold on the inside. You feel different because now you're at, and I'm gonna say it this way, you're in a happy place because you're not doing it out of fear. You're confident, not because of the outcome, but from a place of knowing and having peace. You stop seeing God as a punisher and start seeing God as a provider. And that shift right there, that shift opens doors to blessings that were waiting for you all along. I told you about my car dealership experience in episode 1. What I didn't tell you was that I did not pay the sticker price. I was given a great deal. How, you might ask? Well, on that day, I remember it because it's just certain things that just stands out in your life, right? So the salesman told me they did not make a sale all afternoon. I said, wait a minute. Y'all been just sitting around here. And they were. They were just chatting around. They were sitting. I could see it clear as day right now. When I went in, they were just sitting and talking amongst themselves. And the guy was like, yeah, they were actually talking about closing up early. I arrived around like 4, 5-ish because it was after work. So can you imagine all afternoon they didn't have anybody to come in? If I allowed my fear, I would not have been the person to go in there. They probably would have closed up early and nobody would have made a sale that afternoon. But by me being obedient to what I was feeling, number one, two, stepping out of the fear of going to a dealership, number two, somebody actually got blessed and got paid. What if I let fear rule me? Listen, family, let me leave you with this. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it again and again. Fear-based obedience steals your peace, your joy, and even your prosperity. Love-based obedience opens you to blessings in every area of your life. Every area of your life. So here's your reflection for this week. What decisions am I making, whether it's spiritually or financially, out of fear? And what would those decisions look like if I made them out of love? I'm going to say it again. What decisions am I making, whether it's out of spiritually or financially, out of fear? And what would those decisions look like if I made them out of love? Look, share this episode with someone who needs to hear this. Leave a review and stay tuned for upcoming liberated living resources designed, kind of put words together, resources designed to help you live free in every area of your life. And remember, God never asks you to obey out of fear. God invites you to obey out of love. And when you do, everything starts to align, even money. Until next time, keep flowing in freedom. Thanks for flowing with us on the Liberating River. Subscribe, share, and come back next week for more wisdom, wealth, and alignment. Stay free, stay grounded, stay bold.